In this video, I'm going to show my Raspberry Pi controlled model Christmas house. A building designed for a G-scale outdoor model railway, but adapted for use as a festive Christmas model. The house includes LED Christmas lights, a colour changing snowman, and even a fire effect complete with smoke generator. It is controlled by a Raspberry Pi computer, and new for this year I've designed my own PCB as an upgrade from the prototyping breadboard I installed when it was first used a few years ago. In future videos I'll be going through the steps I used in designing the circuit, first on breadboard and then later into a printed circuit board. This will be in Fritzing for this project, but I'll be covering other PCB design tools in future videos. So if any of that sounds like it may interest you, please click on the subscribe button now so that you'll find out when my new videos come out. In this video I'm going to be going through the inspiration for the model. It's about a preservation steam railway, designing the model in TinkerCAD and 3D printing it. This is my first attempt at designing my own building for the 3D printer, and I'm really quite pleased with it. I'll also talk about how I made this into an interactive 3D design it is today. This all starts with the fascinating preservation railway, the Gloucestershire and Warwickshire Steam Railway. They're not sponsoring this video at all, but I am a shareholder in the railway. The bias is that I like the railway so much I bought some shares in it, rather than hoping my shares will suddenly rocket in value. The railway runs from Cheltenham Racecourse in Gloucestershire to Broadway in Warwickshire. If you've never been to Broadway, there's a delightful village in the Cotswold, well worth a visit in itself. Anyway, back to the story. Along this railway is Winchcombe station, a good place for railway modellers thanks to the model railway built inside a former Royal Mail carriage. I'm creating this video during the COVID-19 pandemic, so some of the stations are closed at the moment, but hopefully they'll be fully open again in the future. If you go outside the station, then just opposite this is a little building. It's not a house at all, despite me calling this video Christmas House, but a weighbridge building, which is only a little bigger than a garden shed. This is why the door is around the side and not at the front of the building, as that's where the weigh-in area is located. One of the reasons for me choosing this model was its size, but more on that later. But also that I thought it was an interesting building. It's a simple design, but with enough features to make it interesting. I've modelled most of it fairly close to the original building, except I haven't added the arches above the door and the window. I started by taking lots of photos from different angles so that I can refer to them when designing a model. To get an idea of size, I actually counted the number of bricks for each of the measurements I needed. Then, knowing the size of an average brick, I was able to translate that into an approximate dimension, taking into consideration the scale, which I used as 1 to 22.5, which is a typical scale used for garden railways. That's not to say I'm a rivet counter, in that I needed to be exactly to size, but it was easier to count bricks than it would have been to get a tape measure and try and measure, say, the height of the roof, etc. This is then when I came to think about size. It just so happens that this building fits perfectly onto a standard size 3D printer. This is certainly useful in terms of not having to break the building into different parts, which then needed to be glued together. I'm sure I'll end up doing that on future projects, but it was useful not to at this stage. I used brick coloured PLA for the building, with the door and drain pipe painted. The window is printed directly onto white PLA, and an acrylic sheet used for the glass. The roof is then printed separately in a dark grey PLA. I used super glue to fasten the window and glass in place, but there was no glue on the roof, which just fits together quite nicely. That was then finished for use on the outdoor railway. I did make a start at weathering it, but leaving it outside for a few months gave a more realistic finish than I could do with paint. Using this as a light up Christmas house was something I thought of later. I thought it may look good with some lights and a bit of fake snow. Originally this was done wiring the components on a breadboard, and I first showed this at a Christmas themed Code Club volunteer event, and then created a graphical interface in Pygame Zero as a demonstration at a 3D printer conference where I ran a workshop on Pygame Zero. I'll be creating more videos soon which will explain how I designed the electronics and the design for the printed circuit board. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on future videos.